In the Wayanad, landslides have now risen to more than 150, and the fear is that it could go upwards of 200. Even now, even in the third day, a little over 100 people are still unaccounted. But it is not as if this incident happened in isolation or there were no forewarnings about it. As far back as 2011, more than 10 years ago, the Gadgil Commission, under a famous ecologist, Madhav Gadgil, had warned about exactly this. 3 years after that, in 2014, the Kasturirangan Commission had scaled down the warnings and the dangers that could happen because of potential landslides, but it came to the same conclusion, that there has to be some sort of check and balance when it comes to rampant illegal construction, rampant commercial activity, the loosening of the soil in that area, and of course, whether or not it is able to keep up with climate change and the cloudbursts that have now become almost a routine affair in that belt. So that brings us to a very blunt question which must be asked. After all, 150 plus lives have been lost on this question. Was Wayanad a man-made tragedy?
The landslide was so strong that it carried a lot of debris, including rock and water. People have lost their houses completely, and they put up this bridge, which is now a lifeline to move men, material and relief supply.
There are teams which are watching the river, and in case there is, the bodies are being moved through the current, so the teams have been placed there, and all action has been done.
There is an urgent need for mapping of landslide-prone areas and to take up mitigation measures and an action plan to address the growing frequency of natural calamities in the ecologically fragile regions.
मैं कुछ कहना नहीं चाहता था माननीय, मगर भारत सरकार की अर्ली वार्निंग सिस्टम पर सवाल किए गए, इसलिए मैं कहता हूं प्लीज लिसन अस, मत चिल्लाइए, प्लीज रीड इट. जो वार्निंग भेजा है उसको पढ़िए जरा.
All right, so were the red flags ignored? We'll get to that in 1 second, but I want to show you what exactly happened in this belt in Wayanad, from a place called Meppadi, which is in the upper reaches of the hills, all the way to Churalmala, which is where the maximum damage was caused. Remember, there were two cloudbursts which resulted in landslides. The first cloudburst happened about 1 a.m. on Tuesday night, or Tuesday early morning, I must say. 1 a.m. was the first cloudburst that had happened. Remember, already in the 24 hours leading up to that cloudburst, this region had received about 350 millimeters of rain. That was just in the 24 hours prior to the cloudburst that happened at 1 a.m. Then, the first landslide was reported in a place called Mundakai, which is just some distance away from this place called Meppadi. This happened at about 2 a.m. in the morning. And then it didn't stop there. There was a second cloudburst and a second landslide that happened. That was in a place called Churalmala. Churalmala literally translates itself into a hill full of bamboo sticks. This happened at a little past 4 a.m. Now this is again further downstream. Then this caused major landslides in which it went further downstream to places like Pudumala, where there was a major landslide which claimed 17 lives back in 2019. So this whole Meppadi to Pudumala areas have witnessed landslides in the past as well. It's not the first time this has been happening there. So apart from Mundakai and Churalmala, where the landslides struck, then further downstream you have places like Attamala, Nulpura, which have also been severely affected. You can see how the river was in spate and it split into two directions after flowing from Meppadi and after crossing Churalmala. So this is exactly what happened. Two cloudbursts, two landslides, and that too within a space of 3 hours, in which up to 300 mm of rain was received in this area. Earlier I spoke to Mr. Madhav Gadgil. He's a renowned ecologist. He was the first one who had warned against such landslides and dire consequences. He said this way back in 2011. This is what Mr. Gadgil had to say.